Let's talk a little more about subject-verb agreement. But before we do, let's remind ourselves of the rule. A verb must agree in number with its subject. Singular verbs must have singular subjects. Plural verbs must have plural subjects. In the last lesson, we talked about how important it is not to be distracted by phrases that come between the subject and the verb. In this lesson, I want to point out two additional things. First, we need to be careful when the normal sentence order is altered, especially when the subject follows the verb. Take this sentence. Behind those trees hides a scared little kid. Some people would use hide here because trees hide sounds correct. But let's look at the sentence. Behind those trees is a prepositional phrase. We know there will be no subject or verb there, so let's cross it out. Now we can see that the verb is hides. Who hides? The kid. Kid is the subject, so it's kid hides. That sentence is correct as written because both subject and verb are singular. Just don't be fooled because the subject comes after the verb. Let's look at another one. There was barely enough cookies for each of the boys. Is that right? Let's look at the sentence. First, let's eliminate the prepositional phrases for each and of the boys. Second, let's remember from a previous lesson that there is never a subject. So let's cross that out. Now we see that the verb is was, and the subject is cookies. But that's not right. Since cookies is plural, we need to change the verb to were. Cookies were, not cookies was. A mistake like this is almost always the result of the normal sentence order being altered. A second point I want to make in this lesson has to do with compound subjects involving and or. Put simply, and should be thought of as a plus sign. Like this. John and Ed are working late this evening. The verb is are working. The compound subject is John and Ed. Since the and functions as a plus sign, John plus Ed equals 2. So we do use a plural verb, are working. But suppose the sentence read this way. John or Ed is working late this evening. Here we use the singular verb is working because the short linker is or rather than and. Or means either one but not both. This is also true if we have a compound subject of more than 2. Rachel, Joan, Kylie, Cindy, or Diana has solved the puzzle. We use the singular verb has solved because of the short linker or. That sentence means one of those girls solved the puzzle, but not all of them, and not some combination of them. Note the difference here. Rachel, Joan, Kylie, Cindy, and Diana have solved the puzzle. Remember, the and is a plus sign. All of them solved the puzzle, plural, so we use the plural verb have solved. In the next lesson, I'll show you one more thing about subject-verb agreement.